morning, we're the Highwaymen. My name's Jason.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm Steve. Thanks for joining us today. Jay, what we're talking about, man?
We're going to talk about what happens after you die.
Well, we all
Not that we know, but you know, we are talking about the possibilities of what happens after you die. What do you think?
Cool. Okay. Well, I believe that we're in a circle of lessons. So I believe that not only have we probably been here before, depending on what stage you are in your journey, you're either going to come back again, but it might not be in the future. You might come back into the past. I think it's I quite think it's quite good. And I tell you what I base this on. You must have had deja vu before, where you go, I've seen this before, I've done that before, or something like that. When I was a young lad, we went on a trip to Wales with the school.
Yes.
And I'd never been there before. And we were fishing this one particular day. I was only a young lad. We were fishing in the sea, and anyway, we ended up losing loads of the tackle and the bits and pieces. And the teacher says, "Oh, we'll have to pack away." Blah blah blah. And I said, "No, there's a fishing tackle shop just round the corner." I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm absolutely positive." So that whole little group of us all packed up our tackle. They all followed me as I went round these couple of streets straight to a tackle shop. We hadn't passed it. The teacher didn't know it was there. How the hell I knew it was there, I've no idea. But I had been there before. As sure can be, I had been there before. I was only about 10, so I certainly hadn't. So that strengthened.
What if life's just a loop? What if you actually go back and just do your own life over and over and over again?
Groundhog Day is quite possible.
I mean,
it is quite possible.
I think the Hindus believe something along those lines, is that you only get to heaven once you've led a perfect life, and you get to and you just keep going over and over until you get to the point. Not that you necessarily remember them every time, but you go through the motions of you go through your whole life over and over again.
I am quite a big advocate of that, if I'm truthful, because I do honestly believe there is more to it than we just sat down here, watch your job, reproduce, and off you go again. I genuinely do think there's a lot more to it. And as you get older, I don't know, I think you kind of appreciate the spiritual journey of it as well. And you start to look for these little things. And don't you find it's a weird thing as well, that opportunities crop up? And I'm saying the word opportunities. Some people see them as problems or stumbling blocks or other bits and pieces. But whatever it is, you tend to get something from it, and you're enriched. And I don't necessarily mean material-wise, but you're enriched mentally. You come out of it knowing a little bit more than when that first happened. And without a doubt, it's 100% journey. I mean, another thing, I don't agree to this one, but everything around you is your imagination. The reality is you are perhaps don't even have you don't even have a body. You know, you're just completely inert, and your cats, your wife, your house, and all that, and everything that everybody else has is all, in fact, even all the people around you.
Well, if that was true, we'd people with not very good lives would imagine better, wouldn't they? Really, because we do imagine better, don't we? Even now, whatever stage we're at. Go on.
Depends where they've come from in their previous life. So it could be this is their penance. So the next part of it, they have to learn to be humble. For example, they may have been very arrogant people, so now they've got to be humble. So they come back, and that is it. This is now, you have to show me how you would be humbled. And so that's how that one goes.
I remember a Twilight Zone episode I watched once, and basically people could remember their past lives, every one of them. So if you woke up and you were you were a prince in your last life, and you woke up and you were a poor person in this one, people would just be killing themselves left, right, center, hoping that the next one would be better. You know what I mean? So you evaluate where your life was and think, oh, do you know, this ain't much crap. We'll just go straight for the next one and see where we end up. That was quite interesting. I was thinking the other day though about we talk about when you die, you move on and all the rest of it, and go off into the. And I was thinking about, what about people who are technically dead for long periods of time? I think someone at our gym died for 24 minutes. He wasn't alive for 24 minutes, and they managed to bring him back. So you're actually still in there.
I'm going
you know what I mean? So if you die and you're still in your brain waiting to be reanimated, at what point do you actually move on, or are you just sort of stuck in your whole body till it just decomposes? Is that what hell is? Is that just everyone just sits inertly in their body without being able to move, think, or anything? Get shipped off in the coffin or put into cinders or whatever, and you're just there, left.
As a spiritual entity, you mean?
Well, I don't even know. It's just in your body. You're just still there. Are you aware or not? I suppose you're not aware when you're not aware. I mean, think about it. When you're asleep, you're not aware what's going on around you outside, so you wouldn't necessarily be aware. But I don't know.
No, I think once your material matter decompose goes, when you die,
well, that's it. Yeah. There's got to be a point where
your body has done its job.
But if they're bringing people back, see, I always thought that as being a human, I mean, I think I've been through different stages of this, thinking, there has to be more to me than this physical existence, so that when I die,
100%.
my knowledge, my person, my knowledge, soul, whatever you want to call it, will have to go somewhere. It can't just stop. But then,
100%.
But then
I agree.
But then that's true of all animals as well, surely.
Yes.
Because we are just another animal.
And what's to say you don't come back as an animal? What's to say that your next go round you're not a dog?
Just hope not to be a dog in China.
In fact, there was a Stephen King book about where a bloke came reincarnated as a dog.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name.
It's not Cujo, is it?
Something a bit weird. I can't remember now.
No, Cujo is a rabid dog.
On the back of what you said. So I may have told you this story years ago, to be truthful. So there was a place in Thurmaston. It didn't last for very long, called Home Base. It was a bit of a. It was.
What Sainsbury's Home Base? What Sainsbury's it was Home Base?
It wasn't Home Base. It was Home. Oh God. I can't remember. And it was a privately owned thing. Right. It was privately owned by this bloke, Home something or other, Home Stores, can't remember. Anyhow, I was doing a job there, and I had the storeroom at the back where goods would come in and then go out onto the shop floor.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine the shop, which was quite a big thing, the access to it was through some of those big rubber draped curtain things. It was big enough for a forklift truck to drive through with a pallet on it.
Yeah.
And then they would just shut, you see. And then inside the actual room, there was this massive big barn door, which opened out so that lorries could reverse in. So the forklift truck could take them off, you see, and go straight outside. The actual storeroom itself wasn't massive. So you didn't have everything they had tended to be on the shelves.
Right.
So it wasn't huge. Anyway, because it was so sort of open plan, when it was bad weather, the rain would come in under the barn doors and stuff and puddle up and all bits and pieces. It didn't last for very long, to be honest with you. I don't quite know what happened to the bloke, but anyway, when I was running in and out with a forklift truck, I was getting wet through.
Oh, you work there?
I know.
You work there?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry. Yeah. My apologies. So I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get some Perspex off the shop floor and put a big windscreen on the front of this forklift truck and a bit on the roof, you see, so then I can go in and out. And that was all good. So I cut my Perspex. And then I had a very old drill. It's ironic when I think about it. It was it sold all these marvelous new things. But the drill I had, which belonged to the company, was a metal cased old Wolf drill. And this massive lead that was joined onto that went into the plug. And the only plug in this entire little warehouse thing was in this office. Now, the office was probably no bigger than a telephone box. It was a posh work office, was no, but there was a plug socket in there. So we went and plugged this thing in, and I'm drilling through the actual frame of the forklift truck to bolt this plexiglass to it. But what had happened was it had been raining, and this lead had all wrapped. Anyway, it went in a puddle. And cut a very long story short, this is what I remember, and this is honest truth. I'm not making this up. I remember the drill sticking to my chest.
Right.
And I remember the drill was still going because I could hear the drill still running, and it was stuck to me. And obviously the water gun, and I was getting an electric shock. I couldn't let go of it, couldn't do anything. The next thing I know, and you're going to say, well, that's a real cliche, but honestly, this is what I remember. The next thing I knew, I was up in the corner of this warehouse, watching me on the floor. So now I'm on the floor, because what had happened was I've been zipped around so much, it actually pulled the socket out of the wall.
Right.
And now I'm laying on the floor, and this drill's at the side of me. And I remember watching me with no emotion. There was no emotion at all. It was just like a very factual thing. And here's the weirdest bit. I was well aware, couldn't see, but I was well aware, because I'd fused all the lights in the shop.
Yeah.
I was well. Oh, you got a pussycat?
I have indeed.
I was well aware that somebody was running around to come through these big flappy doors, and something, which I didn't think was very nice, quite frankly, was coming around the barn doors to get me.
Wow.
And it's whoever got there first. And it just so happens that the flaps opened, and then I don't remember anything else for another 10 minutes. And then the next thing I know, I was sitting down and had a cup of tea, and there was people around me and stuff.
This is penance for all the kids' lunches you stole. And if you don't know what that's about, you've got to watch the previous video about superheroes, and you'll understand what it means. But does that not make you, if you've got something nasty coming for you, does that not make you worry about dying?
Didn't make me worry about dying. I tell you what it did do. It made me try and be a nicer person from that day on.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. Yes. No, I've not had
which I have tried. I haven't always succeeded, but I do try. I really do try to be a nicer person.
Good for you, Stephen. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those unknown things. I go through various stages of believing, not believing, but trying to fathom what could possibly happen. I like the idea of coming back and doing my whole life again, because you get to see your parents again, which would be quite nice.
Or you could see the same people in different guises.
Yes, I've said that before. So your mother becomes your wife, basically.
Yeah,
which sounds a bit weird.
Basically. Yeah. But obviously you wouldn't know her as your mum from before.
No, of course you wouldn't.
Exactly. So
your
dad, your brother, or something like that.
Yeah. That'd be I don't know. Who knows? I mean, anyone else who's had a near-death experience, please let us know. We want to hear. We want to hear.
Love to. I remember something else as well. I remember, can't remember where I was. Again, wasn't that old, probably 15, 16, something like that. And I remember it was a seaside town. Anyway, you sometimes make eye contact with people. And you kind of like, you have a moment. I think James Blunt sang a song about it. But you do, you kind of have a moment. Perhaps no words are spoken. I couldn't take my eyes off her. She couldn't take her eyes off me. She was that bit older as well.
Yeah.
And during that brief thing, it was like all of this. I know you. Yes, I do know you. You were once upon a time. She was either my mum or my wife or whatever, or I could have been. I could have been the woman. It could have been my husband. So, but this real recognition of each other, because I know for a fact that she felt it exactly the same as I did. Because then when we sort of passed each other, it was like, felt like something had been lost again. Ever so strange.
Very weird. Very weird.
So there's more to it than meets the eye. Yes, I absolutely do believe, Jay, that we keep going until we've learned the lessons that we need to learn, and then don't know at that point. I don't know what point of journey we're on. We might be on the second, third go around, might be our first go around. Don't know.
Maybe that
But yeah,
horrible thing that was coming for you was actually birth.
Oh, Jay, my God, man, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That horrible thing. I mean, birth has got to be on a baby pretty traumatic, hasn't it? I mean,
oh my God,
it's bad enough for a woman giving birth. You imagine how bad it must be for the baby as well, the distress and the anxiety. I mean, you know, at what point does the baby become aware of being born? I don't know. Must be after it's after it's took its first breath, surely.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or maybe it's not, but maybe that horrible thing was actually birth and going through that again.
Jesus Christ, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yes.
a bombshell.
Yeah. The vortex. When you go towards the light, actually could be the vaginal opening.
Yeah.
From the inside.
It's not unfeasible.
You go towards the light, possible. And it's actually the doctor on the other end with his with his shining his torch or whatever he's doing, trying to get you out. How about that? So once you go towards the light, you're reborn again.
I like that.
I also like the idea of coming back, living my own life again, but knowing everything that I already know.
Yeah, well, that doesn't happen, does it?
No, but if it did, that'd be fantastic, because I'd have bought Microsoft shares in about 1993, before Windows 95 came out, and Apple shares in about 2000, before the iPhone came out, and Bitcoin as well. Yeah, you know, if you'd have tossed $1,000 into Bitcoin right at the very beginning, you never have to work for multiple lives, would you?
True, very true. Now there we are. But there you go. But you can have your invisibility superpower as well, though, and just get in there on those high power meetings and find out about them.
Find out what's going on. I want to know what high power meetings you want to walk into. I think you'd be spending a lot of time. You get bored of that really quickly. You go into a couple of meetings.
Hugh Hefner will be hosting a lot of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd be a whole different story. Oh, in fact, we have to do a video on Hugh Hefner. We'll do one on Hugh Hefner, maybe next time. Anyway, I think we'll leave that one there. Thanks for watching. This is Willow, by the way. Oh, she's going now. Now we're finishing our little chat. Yeah. And
Willow, incidentally, is on her third life around, and prior to this, she used to be Jason's brother, perhaps. Who knows?
Perhaps. Who knows? You never know. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What else do they need to do, Steve?
Very important, everybody. Press that bell.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Good to see everyone. Bye.